Yeah, Frank Phelan is my name. I'm Pat's son. I'm the third in the family of 5, 3 girls and 2 boys. And my brother just arrived a week ago from Australia. We hadn't seen him for... and it's wonderful that you're here today, that he's here and he'll be on camera. And people haven't seen John for years, 40 years, I'd say. And it's great that he's home, and we're here with our father to do this, you know, and... I'm delighted. I never left Slieverue, actually. I was born and reared out here, and I like it. And yeah, it's a wonderful place to live. Yeah, but the days years ago, you asked me about years ago. I mean, there was only 2 phones in Slieverue when I was growing up. There was one up in Welsh's, Auntie Kitty's and Uncle Billy's, and that phone was a pay phone. You press button B to get your money back, and press button A to go through, which were extraordinary times. There was a phone in the kiosk just above Griffin's shop. I mean, we had 2 shops in Slieverue, Murphy's and Griffin's, and the phone box was just outside Griffin's. And there was a phone in Welch's. And the only reason that Uncle Billy put in a phone in there, because every person in the village came in and used that phone. I mean, she was a great woman, Auntie Kitty. She was a nurse. She was better than a doctor, actually.
And John, you left when you were 18?
About 20.
Okay.
Yes.
And you obviously would have a lot of memories in your head from that time.
Oh, from here?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, there's a field between the Welches and the Phelans, and we all the whole village congregated in there to play any type of game, soccer, rugby, football, anything. That was the sports field between here, so that was great. And also, you know, my memories of Slieverue, you know, characters. There's one character, Lakes Morrissey. I remember going up to the graveyard and seeing, you know, not him in the grave, but the dirt coming up from the grave. Yes. And I knew he was down there because the dirt was, you know, so things like that. A lot of funny stuff. And Murphy's shop across the street, I mean, that was a legendary place. And, you know, we used to... Mother had an account in Murphy's and Griffin's, and we used to put everything was, you know, on the slate, and then we'd pay, and she'd say, "What are all these sweets and lollies and chips and stuff and soft drinks?" So everything went on the slate, which was, you know, was great. Great memories, really.
And it's really interesting too when you go away. It's kind of all logged in your head, isn't it?
It is, certainly is. Yeah, it's. Yeah, and when you come back, you know, it's the smells of the grass being cut and all that stuff, you know, yeah, brings back memories. Yeah.
And Pat, one thing you didn't talk about was that you were kind of a chauffeur for the nurse.
The pregnant women.
Your
I did a lot of chauffeuring, yes, for nurse, and bringing her to patients that would send word to her through some verbal contact.
To bring them in.
And I would be then contacted, and I would drive her to that house, wherever the problem was.
So there's a lot of babies born as a result of you driving your sister-in-law.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And your daughter,
Catherine,
could you maybe tell us a little bit about you, where you come in the family?
Yes, I'm the second eldest, and I started working in Guinness Brewery on the quay for about a year, and then from there I went on to Cherry's Brewery, and I was there for about maybe 13 years, and then I met my husband through Kitty Walsh, who was a nurse in the hospital. So I went to live in Dublin 32 years ago.
Oh, wow. So I presume you all went to school in Slieverue, primary school?
Yes, we went up to 8, and then we went to Ferrybank, Sacred Heart.
Okay.
Down in Sacred Heart of Mary down in Ferrybank.
And that was for the girls?
Yes.
Okay, and what was that like to go from a country school into the convent school?
Oh, it was lovely, yeah. We used to get a lift with Builder Welsh, a local character, up the way. He used to bring the 3 of us down every morning.
Everybody hitchhiked in those days. You know.
Yeah, they hitchhiked.
Everybody.
Mum had an arrangement with him
There
to
could be
bring
20
three
people
girls.
hitchhiking in and out of
I used to be
Slieverue,
home
yeah,
for
true.
lunch.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
And so from the convent then, where would you go after that? What was the next school after that?
From
You went from
Oh no, we went at 8 down to the convent. We stayed there until the leave insert.
Okay, right,
Yeah,
sure.
we didn't. I didn't change then.
And for the boys, what happened to you?
I was in national school in Slieverue up here, up the mountain road they called it, just this side of the hurling field. And I have great memories up there. Miss Sten was there, Mrs. Morrissey, and Hurley was his name. I can't think of his first name.
And I believe Miss Den was a tough one.
Miss Den was a great teacher. She was like Catherine Grant in Slieverue. That's a fact.
Well, she took no prisoners.
Well, she was great. Miss Den, I have great memories of Miss Den. And Catherine Grant, who was the principal in Slieverue School over here, just opposite us. I mean, she taught my two sons over there, she did a wonderful job. She was a great teacher. And she's retired now as well. And I'm retired. I retired only 5 months ago, which I'm having a ball. And I started in Slieverue for 5 years. I went to, they shifted me into St. Declan School in Waterford. I couldn't believe it. They bought me a bike and set me in. I was doing nothing in Slieverue, they said. But John can talk about his education because he never went to school. But anyway, I ended up in St. Declan's, did my primary, and then I went to De La Salle. And I went to De La Salle for the hurling, and John went to Water Park. So that's how and then I got a job after that. I was lucky I got a job.
That was funny that one of you went to De La Salle, one of you went to Water.
Yeah, I don't know why you can ask him that question yourself.
Any notions about himself?
I don't know that now, but
His mother had.
well, I was into hurling and I wanted to go and play hurling. And that's the only reason I went to De La Salle. I thought, but then I took up rugby. It's extraordinary. I took up rugby after coming out of school. You know?
And John,
Yeah. I did 1 or 2 years up in the old school up here, and then finished the primary here, and then went to Water Park. Can't remember much about it really.
did you like Water Park?
By the time he was there, I think.
Yes, yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
Are you inferring that he wasn't a great student?
No. John was
Not a great student, but all good.
He enjoyed it, Jay. He enjoyed it.
And did any of you have talking to boys, did any of you have a go at the rowing like your dad was?
No, I never did. No,
Well-
no. But we were always down in Dunmore. He was always fishing on a Sunday morning. We all went to Dunmore at 8 o'clock, and we were down there all day.
And he built a boat which is in the garage here, and we used to take that out all the time. When I was about 8, there was a beautiful boat. It's still in there.
And Pat, I believe you're a great fisherman.
Yes, I did a lot of. I'm a founder member of the Dunmore East Sea Anglers Club, and we were very active. We used to go out on a Sunday morning at 11 o'clock, and all lines in at 6 o'clock in the evening. And I had the privilege of landing 2 skate in Dunmore, and there's a photograph there of one of them. Yeah. I think it's 107 pounds, is it?
Keep it going.
Yeah,
Wow, what size that?
the skate.
It was 107.5 pounds.
I had 2 of those. Yes, this one was 107 pounds and the other one was 109 pounds. And that was 1962 that happened. And I repeated that I was a founder member of the Dunmore East Sea Anglers Club, and we had a very big membership, and we hired a trawler to go to out deep sea on a Sunday morning at 11 o'clock, and we'd return at 6 o'clock in the evening with big catches of all kinds of fish. And we used mackerel for bait and for edible purposes.
And food.
Yes, yeah. When we came home, they put them on the pan. I did
And Pat, can you remember who else was in the club at that time? In the angling club? Do you remember any of the other lads? Say your names.
Do I remember?
I even remember.
Yes. There was Reggie O'Grady, had the hairdressing place down on the mall, near the big building there. Roger Grady, he was a lovely man.
Billy Lyons,
And Billy Lyons,
Jim Grant.
Club Meats, and Jim Grant. Also, he had a shop on O'Connell Street. He was also very active in the angling club.
And Pat, I forgot to ask you, Ron, you also went from Denny's to Clover Meats.
Yes,
And Clover Meats, like a lot of people in Slieverue were associated with Clover Meats. There was a lot of workers from
lot.
here.
yes.
And Ferrybank.
In the area, yes, naturally, being close to it, There was about
800,
there was about 500 employees there when I joined it. Big staff.
And how did that compare to Denny's?
Quite similar. They were producing bacon and sausage and puddings and cooked meats, all of these things, and both companies did this. And they were all very saleable.
Rivalry.
And there was a number of vans on the road. There was about 7 or 8 vans on the road, and they went out every morning into different areas and did their calls to the shops and made their sales. And they were accountable then when they came back to the office in the evening with whatever stock they had left over and the cash for the sales. And that was all kept on record through an invoice book. The top copy was left to the customer, and the copy was retained then for use in the office.
Okay. And just lads, go back to you now, just about growing up. Can you remember any of the characters around at your time that you remember?
Oh God, yeah, Denny Switchboard, Denny Rochford, he was a wonderful, great character. We called him Switch. Nicky Kavanagh, my father mentioned earlier on. Lakes Morrissey, John mentioned. The Flyer was another fella.
Why did they get these names?
I actually don't know, they always had them, but I used to go to the local. Pat said he didn't go down much to the local, but I always went to the local. I went around with Michael Stapleton actually, and I actually served down in that pub for several times. I served in it, and I served a drink for the first drink I ever sold. I remember distinctly was 2 shillings and a penny for a bottle of stout, and then I went to a half crown. And John Marr was another great character. He said you'd get 8 bottles of stout for £1 that time, 8 bottles of stout, and there was fellas drinking 8 bottles of stout every night. And they could drink 12. We called it a gallon, 8 pints in a gallon. But anyway, there were great days. The characters down there were. I learned how to play cards down there, and if you made a mistake down there, you were dead, and you were playing the 30. We called it a rubber at the time, and we went to Tramore, 2 bits, Tramore. Everybody might remember that, but but there's nobody playing cards now. Not that many people are playing cards.
Was there sing-songs in the pub in those days?
Always great sing-songs, yeah. You could have a sing-song on a Saturday and a Sunday morning. They were great days, actually, when you look back.
And everybody would have their own song, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah. I'm singing the same song for the last 40 years.
I know.
But there were some great characters in Slieverue, the Flyer and the Peddler Welsh. I tell the story. I was an altar boy with Ray Welsh, who was a first cousin of mine, and that was Auntie Kitty's son. And we were serving. It was the Easter Sunday, Holy Saturday night, and we used to have the fire lighting at the back of the church, and we couldn't get it going. The breeze and the rain and everything. And Ray said, "Put Peddler on it." He said. That was his name, Peddler. And he meant to say petrol. He said, "Put Peddler on it." But, they were great, yeah. There were some great characters in Slieverue when you look back. And, the one that really sticks in my mind was, probably shouldn't say this, but Paddy Mara was one. He was living down in the new houses as well. He lived beside Nicky Kavanagh. There were some lunatics down there when you think about it. And he used to say, he'd go home and he'd be going home by rail, We used to go down, there used to be a railing the whole way down by the new houses, and I'm going home by rail, he used to say. He used to hold on to her, he couldn't stand up, the poor man. But he was a great character, they were great times. I mean, there was no harm in any of them, no harm.
Another one, Morris Henneberry. He was
Gilbert
Morris
O'Sullivan's.
was used to live down here, and he used to stagger home. We used to actually help him to prop him up. All the kids used to prop him up and bring him down home and almost put him to bed, you know. It's like, true.
And then obviously he has a big connection with
Oh,
a famous guy.
yes, I think the uncle of Gilbert O'Sullivan,
O'Sullivan.
who was from Waterford. Was he from Slieverue? No, Waterford, I think.
Mrs.
Yeah.
Henneberry, yeah.
Yeah.
I met Gilbert in Stapleton's one night, actually. I mean, he had a big long hair, and that was just extraordinary just to meet him. He was famous. What was it? I can't think of the songs, but...
But he came back to his roots.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
No Need to Hurry.
No Need to Hurry, yeah.
Oh, sure, he was mega, wasn't he?
He was famous, yeah.
And what about any other characters that you can remember? What about any of the women? We didn't mention any of the women from way back. Any of the characters from...
Well, you didn't see many women out drinking then. Now they're all out, but there was...
No.
There was very few women went into Stapleton's on their own or Rockets. I mean, I used to go down to Market Powers a good bit. That was a great pub, as Pat said earlier on. And then there was Dick Rocket had the pub beside it. He was played with Kilkenny in 1957. I mean, that was a famous pub as well. I mean, there was 4 pubs in the village when you think about it. You know.
And your dad mentioned the pub in My Post.
Yeah, Market Powers.
Yeah. Why was that famous? What was unique about that?
Jimmy Ned's, they called it. Jimmy Ned?
Yeah.
Do you remember? That was a great pub, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was just a great old building, wasn't it?
It was. They had a reputation of, for having a sing-song there, and you never know. They'd call on somebody to sing a song, and that sparked the whole thing off. Somebody then would arrive with a melodeon,
Yeah.
and they'd play away.
But she ran a great house there, didn't she?
She used to sell pig's feet, do you remember?
Did she?
Yeah,
Sure.
pig's feet.
remember that.
Crew beans, was it?
Yeah, she used to do
Crew beans.
crew beans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certain times of the year.
And she might only give you 2 or 3 drinks, and you could say, "You'll have to go now. You've had enough." That's the way she was.
So she
You
ran
know?
a strict house.
Oh, she ran a very good house there, yeah. A very good house. But all Clover Meats used to come up there. All the workers in Clover. She did very well out of that years and years and years ago, yeah.
And then, all the Clover Meats workers would be bringing home parcels of food, wouldn't they?
Yes,
Parcels
I
of-
remember on Saturday morning, Mum would send us out up the ditch. There's a ditch all along from our house up to Walsh's, and the parcels of brown paper pass with the name and a number on them. And the men would have brought them home the previous night, but got drunk all along the way and dropped. We used to find 3 or 4 parcels every Saturday.
If I painted you bad pictures, Steve, but they weren't all drinking. But you know what I mean? It isn't that they had a few drinks on a Friday night and they went home and that was it. You know what I mean?
No, but the parcel was very important, wasn't it?
Oh,
The
yeah, the
numbers,
parcel.
and we would have to go down to the house then with the parcels because we'd have the number. I won't say where they went to, but
And our job on a Sunday night was to go around and all the mackerel that Father caught, everybody in the village got mackerel from the fishing days. We used to in newspaper and stuff.
Yeah, I remember bringing the Skinner Irish over mackerel and pollock, and he loved it. And I always got 2 and 6. Some money then. For a big.
If you bob like for
Oh, he gave me money every time I went over. I was delighted to get this fish on a Sunday night, and I'd go straight over on the bike.
and
Get
then
2
the,
and 6.
yeah, then the creamery was open.
No, I
at
didn't
that
tell
stage.
anybody
Creamery.
about the 2 and 6, but some
Yeah.
money then I can tell you.
Yeah, that's right. The creamery
The
was
creamery
fun.
was open then.
That was a day out for us going to the creamery
Mickey
in the morning.
Fitz and O'Mahony, was it?
Dick Manny.
Dick
was the
Manny
manager
was,
there,
yeah, he was the manager there, yeah. We used to go over and get cream every Friday, was it? Friday was getting in a milk bottle, get it full up.
And Pat, to go back to when you came out here first, like was there electricity in all the houses that stage, or was there any?
Not in the beginning. I think 1947. I think just some years after I came to live here, we got the ESB in.
I mean, that obviously made a big change to everything.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And what about the water? Was the water...
Water was similar, yes. The water would have been there a little earlier, perhaps. And that was a big benefit for everybody to have water, turn on a tap. And
before that, people would have to go to the well or whatever.
they would have to go to the well.
I used to go down to Hartley's to the well and
Yeah.
bring up 2 buckets of water most days. Yeah.
I mean, the present generation will find it very hard to believe
Yeah, well,
that was normal.
and we're not that old.
So that was part of your daily routine.
Yeah.
That you
Yeah.
have to go and get the water.
Yeah.
You'd have to queue up for it because there's lots of people with buckets and, yeah. Drinking water, that was...
Yeah, and we used to put it up on the back, out in the back hall, we used to call it. And it used to be up this high, actually. And you'd be gasping after playing out in the field, as John said, between Welches and ourselves. We all used to play out there. There'd be 20, 30 kids out there every day playing. You go in for a bucket, and next to the bucket, the thing might come out on top. Do you remember that?
No.
You weren't around, Joyce. But I remember that.
You know down in Ballinlaw, there was a pub down there.
Oh, yeah, the ferry in Ballinlaw.
Yes.
Oh, back
Do you remember that?
That was a long way from here.
The
Ferry in Ballinlaw.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I remember that. I remember going down there and having a drink there in that pub.
And there was a ferry across there, wasn't there?
There was a ferry service then to the other side, Wexford side.
Did you ever go over that way?
I did, yeah. Went over on a few occasions.
And you know when you went fishing, did you ever do fishing in the river?
We were here, not very little. Dunmore East was my
That was your area.
spot for fishing. I tell you, I had 2 skate. I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Angie Catherine, where are you?
I'm here.
What have we left out?
I suppose the church.
Oh,
Pat,
sorry,
you were-
yeah.
and Pat was very involved.
Just to go back to something that you didn't talk about, and I suppose it might be no harm to talk about, is your involvement in St. Vincent de Paul.
Yes, indeed. I was the recipient of the Benny Laurenti Medal for services to St. Vincent de Paul,
50 years.
which I'm very proud of, and a certificate on.
So how many years were you involved in that?
I was up to now actually. I'm still involved. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was from about 1950. So it's your, what, 60?
67.
And tell me then, when you started off first, I mean, in this area, what kind of jobs would you have in St. Vincent de Paul at that stage?
What kind of jobs?
Yeah, what would you have to do for St. Vincent de Paul? What was the kind of normal thing that you'd have to do?
Yeah, well, it depends on whether there was full employment in the factories that they worked in. and one was Clover Meats, and others were. The other one was the foundry, Allied Irish Foundry, and there was quite a few residents from this area employed in these factories and cycling every day into work.
And for St. Vincent de Paul, then what would you do?
St. Vincent de Paul.
Poor people. How poor were they, Pat?
Yeah. I was a founder member here, and there was a lot of poverty in that era. You know, that was 1947.
Yeah, got married.
Around there, and we used to meet in Ferrybank. And there were quite a number of members from Ferrybank area and here, and I was one of the, I think, 2 or 3 members from the locale here.
Ricky Griffin.
Because,
Ricky Griffin.
Or would you go around to people's houses?
sorry?
Would you go around to people's houses?
Yes, we used to visit people if we got, sometimes we used to get a report about somebody in trouble. And we go along and call to that house and explain who you are and what you were doing, and you were then invited in, sat down, and they were very open with the problems they had, and they just talked about them, and we gave them some relief, you know, to overcome the problems that they had.
And that was very discreet and...
Oh, very private, very, very private, yeah.
And so that was very important work. That was very important work.
Yes indeed. Yes,
So-
indeed.
And then where did you got the certificate? You got the
Benny Marenti.
Benny Marenti medal. Where did you get that? Was from Rome, was it?
From Rome, yeah.
Benny Marenti came from Rome, yes. Yeah. I have the certificate in
We
Here.
get a shot of that in a minute.
yeah.
Were you involved in the bazaars, Pat, and the fates and that? Were you involved in the bazaar and the fate? You must have been, no?
You used to
Spinning,
do.
The
wheel,
spinner, wasn't
spinner.
Pat
Yeah.
the spinner?
He never got off
He
the
was a
spinner, I think.
He was a fundraiser for
fundraiser for the-
yes,
for
there was
Ferrybank School.
There was
Ferrybank.
a fate. There was a fate, fundraising. Dr. Hughes used to, he was very involved in this. He had a committee, and everybody had a job to do. And I was on the
Spinner.
wheel spinner, and selling tickets around, and we had a display of prizes, big display of prizes. We went around and asked companies, people, businesses to if they could give us a donation or give us a prize or give us something, you know. And they were very forthcoming in that area.
Well, and do you remember these?
Oh, I remember it very well, yeah.
Go on, tell us
I
about
remember my
their
father there were used to be boxes and boxes of biscuits, sweets, all kinds of stuff inside in the front room when the bazaar was coming up at Christmas or whenever. He was always doing something. My father was always.
So he was very active.
Very involved in the Vincent de Paul all his life, in the parish especially, you know what I mean. For a blow-in, he did a lot of good work, as they call him out here, blow-ins. I mean, I'm an out-and-out Slieverue man. He still says he's a Waterford man, but I'm a stripy man anyway, I can tell you.
And Pat, would you be shouting for Waterford in the hurling?
Yes,
Yes.
he's never left
Fair
Grantstown.
play to you, Pat. Fair play to you.
Never. He's very proud of his roots, Grantstown, aren't you, Pat?
You don't feel under attack.
Well, I'm a Waterford man by birth, and I still hang in there.
And some people said I was born in Waterford, but I'm a Kilkenny man. I was born in Airmount Hospital. I mean, this is an argument that goes on all the time.
Here, Frank. Most
Yes.
people in place before.
Yeah, but they still say
Yeah.
that I'm a Waterford member. It's not about the flag. It's it's your roots. It's where I mean, I was born and reared here, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, listen, lads, thanks very much for allowing us to be filmed and all that. It's great. It's a great privilege for us to kind of come in and get a little small glimpse into your family. So it's really fantastic. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.